Thank you. Our next question will come from Brittany Tucker.
My name is Brittany Tucker. I'm a senior here at Ord High School. My future plans include attending college to become a registered nurse. My question for you, Mr. Curtiss, is Nebraskans currently spend 7% of their income to Nebraska's tax system and 15% to the federal tax system. So do you think a proposal to end Nebraska's state income tax would be beneficial in creating jobs? Why or why not?
This is a little bit of a tricky question. I believe that eliminating the state income tax would create jobs, but it would be in a roundabout way, and let me explain that a little bit. The fact of cutting income tax would not incentivize me as a business owner to create more jobs, because the taxes that I pay, the contributions that I make, are on a federal level, not necessarily on the state level. So it would benefit my employees, which is good, but it would not incentivize me to hire more people. Now that, going along that line, if we have no state income tax, more people will want to move here. As I've traveled the district and as I've talked to people around the district, we actually are bleeding people because they're moving to states where they have no income tax. They're moving to Oklahoma, they're moving to South Dakota, they're moving to our bordering states that have no income tax because they see that as a personal benefit. As times get tough, as pocketbooks shrink, people want to hold on to more of their money. So I would support eliminating the income tax, and I think it would, in a roundabout way, create more jobs. If the workers come back here, we'll be able to fill up our businesses, we'll be able to encourage growth, we'll be able to entice new businesses with skilled workers wanting to live here in Nebraska. So in essence, yes, and it's a great idea.
Senator Sullivan, how do you feel about eliminating the state income tax?
Thank you for the question. One thing I've learned in life and in the legislature, for every action, there is a reaction. And if we were to eliminate the state income tax, if you listened to me earlier about how we divide the budget pie, you have to ask yourself, well, if we eliminate the state income tax, where do we make up for it? And where will the sources of revenue be? And we all know that we don't want that any more emphasis than we already have on property taxes. Well, I will start out also by saying that the governor has approached and presented this topic, but it's still very much a moving target, even in his own mind. And we'll be discussing this very deeply as the legislature unfolds its next session. But as I said, when you eliminate something, you have to offset it with something on your balance sheet. What if we were to look at eliminating all those sales tax exemptions? If you heard me say earlier what impact that would have on agricultural producers with some of the inputs that they have now that are currently exempt from sales tax. I haven't done very much research on this, and I haven't looked at what's going on in other states, but I have seen that a group called the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities say that typically in states where they have eliminated the income tax, property taxes and sales tax turn out being higher. So I think in the whole scheme of things, we need to be very cautious about when we make big changes in the tax code, because there will not only be an action, but there will certainly be a reaction.
We're going to stay on this time. Mr. Curtiss, how could Nebraska handle the loss of a sales tax and not incorporate the property tax or the sales tax?
My campaign is built off of personal responsibility. I am in support of things called the fair tax, a consumption tax. The more you buy, the more you pay. That's just the reality of the situation. The difference in my campaign is that I don't want to keep your money. I don't want your money. I'm sorry, I'm not saying Sullivan does. Don't mistake me. But I don't feel that it's the government's job to take your money from you and to reallocate it. If there were a place where we have cut income, we cut expenses. That's how it works.
The same question to you, Senator Sullivan. How would the state handle possibly cutting the sales tax or income tax or eliminating it?
In the whole mix of things, if we want smaller government, we're going to have to look at ways to cut services. If the source of the revenue is not as big as it was if we eliminate income tax and we don't replace it with anything, you can be sure that there will be very significant cuts in the state budget. And we will all have to ask ourselves some very hard questions about what services we are willing to give up, whether it's in the area of education, corrections, or personal safety. They will be hard choices to make.
Thank you. We're going to end this forum with a 1-minute closing
Thank you. I asked about whether or not we give an opening statement. I forgot to ask whether we give closing statements. So this will be a little bit off the cuff, but no less from the heart, because it has been an honor and a privilege to be your state senator for the last 4 years. I came into it because I wanted to serve rural Nebraska. I stand before you today because I want to continue to do that. I care deeply about what rural Nebraska has given to me, and I'm at the point in my life certainly where I want to give back. I will listen. You can't ask for a harder worker than you will have in me. I will work hard for rural Nebraska. I will listen to your concerns. I will fight for rural Nebraska among those 48 other colleagues that I would have in the state legislature. And in doing that, we will have a better state. Thank you.
Mr. Curtiss, your closing remarks.
Thank you. Thanks again for letting us do this. This was my first large-scale type of thing like this, so I appreciate it. In terms of closing, I just want to remind everyone, district born, district raised, I have a desire to see this district succeed into the future. Pierce County is a new addition to this district, but as I travel this district, the problems that we all face are not any different. We may live in different towns and we may live in different communities, but the problems and the issues that we face in our rural communities are exactly the same. Being a small business owner, I started 7 years ago at a newspaper that I worked at in high school. And I know the struggles, I know what's going on, I know how to adjust those, I know how to fight those problems. I have the motivation, personal motivation, to make sure that this district succeeds, because it's where I want to live for the next 50 more years than that. As far as my personal experience, that's been a challenge for me. This is the first office that I've decided to run for publicly, but I can guarantee you with the experience that I've had in the newspaper, there is no learning curve. Day one, we'll start with some changes.
Thank you, and that concludes our forum today. So a round of applause for the candidates and speakers. A special thank you to the Ord Quiz and Nikon for helping organize today's event. The story will appear in next Thursday's Ord Quiz. Have a good day. Students return to 2A. Thank you.